Are you someone who struggles maybe with people pleasing? You just feel like you can't be yourself because if you upset someone, it might have dramatic impacts on you. Well, today I want to talk about how you can move through this. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. As always, if you want to connect with me more on social media, I will link my links up in the show notes below. Now, this has been a big one for me, people pleasing through my whole life. I could feel it, not just in the mind, in the body. It's like, oh my God, what if someone dislikes a bit of work I've done? What if I ask someone to do something that they may not be happy about, and then like I get the bad side of it, like I get told off? And it was terrifying, like in my career, and I do all the things I could to avoid conflict, and it wasn't good. And when I started moving through this and working through this, this is when my career got a lot better. I got a lot of pay rises, lots of promotions, started getting noticed, was doing a lot more public speaking, grew in business, like grew in sales and everything. So I believe you can do it as well. It's just a matter of intention and commitment, as always. And I can remember just like hearing, like not wanting to see feedback in case it was bad, because I'll be like, what if someone doesn't like me? Now, what I genuinely believe is people pleasing is like a muscle. It's something you can get stronger at. The more you work that muscle, the more you can be okay with people not liking what you're saying, what you're doing. The problem is when we don't work on that muscle, like anything, it gets weak and it holds us, and it can really hold us back from being who we truly are. And from all my research and work on this, you may have heard me talk about this before, I've learned for me that it's always come from like childhood. It's like that wanting to impress parents, teachers, and people I thought had a lot of authority. Now, obviously, I do want the love of my parents because they're very close to me, and I know not everyone's got that relationship. But when you go through other experiences and you're like, oh my God, I need to like please everyone, it can really hold you back. Now, I'm going to say something here that's probably going to upset some people. Again, though, this is all about people pleasing, and I'm here to just share my truth and what I believe. Lots of people, when I've talked to them about this, come up with all these amazing stories on why they're stuck in people pleasing, when actually it just may take a little bit of action for you to do something and face your fears. Sorry if that's upset you, but also not sorry if it's going to help you, right? Yes, we could have things in our childhood where like someone screamed at us, shouted at us, or maybe we didn't have a nice experience in a relationship, in the workplace. Of course, that's going to impact you. And again, like I'm not going to say hold down or suppress your emotions. No, that's not me. Like I'm a breathwork practitioner. I believe about fully going into your body. What I'm going to say though is a lot of people, and I've done an episode on healing, they like to use the whole story of this happened to me, therefore I'm stuck in this way. If that's you, is that really empowering? Because I was caught there. It's many times like, well, I can't say this because I'm just a shy person. That's a label you're putting on yourself. People like to make all these stories and reasons why they can't move forward. Yet if you look at the most successful people, they've sometimes got a lot that went on in their life. Like if you look at someone like Oprah Winfrey, all the things she went through, did she decide to let that story stop her? No. It's one of the most inspirational women in the world. Tony Robbins, he got like all sorts of abuse as a kid. Could he have been stuck in the whole people-pleasing place of like, oh, I don't want to get attacked like verbally or physically? Of course he could, right? Yet he goes out and says his truth and gets an like he's a very inspirational guy who changes lives and he lives in his truth. Yet he is not worried about what a few people think of him because people dislike him. People don't like people who are successful. So ask yourself, is your whole I'm stuck in this way, all these things went on in my early life, helping you? People like to stay in this whole victim mentality of like, well, this happened to me, so I'm stuck in low self-esteem or confidence, or I'm impacted. Now, I'm not saying don't work on those things. I'm not saying don't work with a therapist. I'm not saying don't work with a coach. 100% for all those things. Yeah, if you're using, and obviously if something really traumatic's happened to you like yesterday, I'm not saying go out and start taking a load of action today. I'm just saying there's a point where we can let our story hold us back rather than actually facing the fear that we need to face. And again, I'm just sharing my truth because I've been certainly guilty in that. I've been caught in it. Like, I can't do this because I like if someone dislikes me, but then in my childhood, in my last year, someone got upset with me and all this, and it's really dramatic and it's really impacted me and all this kind of things, right? Yeah, totally get it. Yeah, is it really serving you with those stories? So the first thing I'm going to say is do more things and stop your story. That's the first bit of guidance I want to share with you. You don't have to go out. If you're like really scared of what people think about you, it does not mean you get up and tell your boss to fuck off tomorrow morning. No, of course not. Right? That may be a bit of a jump, right? Maybe you start with like someone says something that upsets you, and usually you would hold it in and you say, well, I found that a little bit hurtful, if I'm honest. And you're not focusing on their reaction. You'll focus on you living your truth. So just do something small. The second thing is, like I said, I'm always keen on people doing the deep work. I'm keen on taking the action whilst working on your psychology, your deep, things that are hurting for you. I write them if things are like triggering for me in the week, because I'm a human being too. I work on things. I will note on my phone. I won't let it hold me back, and I will feel into things when I need to. Like now and then, something may come up and grief comes up, and I need to. Not every day, obviously. Well, not every day, but I may need to just let out a little bit of emotion. I may need to go away and cry, and that's totally cool. I will find time to do that deep work on myself, though. And then the third thing is, I'm going to invite you to listen to more people who aren't people pleasers, like people who are very charismatic and go out, like people like Tony Robbins, people like these thought leaders who really share their truth. Because the more you listen to something and take it in, the more it's going to sink into your system, into your subconscious mind. So that's what I invite you into as well. Now, I've got a final point for you, and it's a very simple one. I want to remind you again, though, if you want to connect me more on social media, you can find my links in the show notes below. The final point I'm going to invite you to say is get into a habit of asking yourself, are you making a choice right now out of fear or love? Now, this is the catchphrase I always end the podcast on. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Because when you get caught in this, often we can get so fearful. And it's okay if you catch yourself in fear and acting out fear. That's fine. But being aware and then changing it next time, having an intention to live more out of love is going to help you. And being out of love, living out of love is not people pleasing. Being a people pleaser is living out of fear because you're fearful of other people. Living out of love can mean upsetting other people. Not deliberately, not going out and hurting other people, because that is fearful. That's like, I need to put other people down because I'm hurting. We're talking about living out of love, living your truth. It's like you say to someone who's perhaps doing something that you find, maybe they've got a good intention, but they're doing something a little bit like patronizing, not making you feel good, and it's really hurting you. Well, it could boil up and boil up and boil up and get worse, and then you lash out one day. Or you could say, look, I'm not fine. I'm not comfortable with this behavior. I would feel a lot better if you did this. It may be a little bit upsetting for them. But what you're doing is living out of love, because then you're going to feel better about yourself and be the best example to other people as well. Living out of love sometimes involves someone else feeling a little bit of truth and honesty from you at other times. So asking yourself that question very regularly is a really, really helpful one. In summary, what I would say is, keep working through your wounds and these things that you think maybe the people pleasing is coming from. Don't let it stop you. Don't get caught in your story. Do take the action to move forward, because we could all make up stories of why we're scared and all these kind of things. Ask yourself if it's serving you. And that's the point I want to get across today. You have the power to really move forward. People pleasing is a muscle. The more you work it, well, it's kind of like the anti-people pleasing muscle. I don't believe anyone is like completely free of people pleasing, because we have to, survive. We have to live by the law and these kind of things, unless you've got some kind of like social like disorder or sort of in your brain or something. But yeah, I think everyone's got some degree of, they've got to please people, but the extent to which can really impact your life. So just start taking some of the action and the points I said. If you listen today and you just go, oh, okay, I feel a little bit better now, and you do nothing, well, you're just going to be stuck in that people pleasing. You're not working the muscle. And I don't want that for you. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.